Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Deal with Vehano Joseph. This is a show dedicated to all levels of entrepreneurs looking to scale and improve their lives. So let's dive on in with our next guest. Hello and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Deal with Vehano Joseph. And today we have a special guest, Jesslyn Rollins CEO of Biolyte, a company known as the IV in a bottle. And it's the first physician formulated drink that delivers medical grade hydration. I've had the pleasure of knowing Jesslyn for the last several years, and it's just incredible to have seen your growth. Jesslyn, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Vehano. It is amazing to see you.
Yeah.
Amazing to talk about the business. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. You know, I've always enjoyed the stories you've told me about, like how Biolyte have come along and have started and grown. But I'm sure my listeners would love to hear, you know what? Let's hear the story of like how you came into your company's business and what was your path like? Because I think what's underestimated in this world is like we all see the amazing success, but we seldomly get to hear the path and the story, which is such a beautiful way that the way that life works. And yeah, tell us a little bit more about you, my friend.
Biolyte. So if you've never heard of Biolyte, what it literally is the most powerful hydration drink that you can get on the market today. It combines the science of an IV bag with the convenience of a sports drink. And so, I must be a nutritionist or dietitian or have all this experience with IVs to know how to do that. And that is not at all my background. So Biolyte turns out to be my family's company. So a couple of years ago, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. And when she was going through her chemo treatments, she was so sick and so dehydrated to the point where they had to end up giving her IVs to stay on top of treatment. But the problems with the IVs were that she was so dehydrated that they couldn't even find her veins. So when mom was slogging through chemo, I mean, it's not like we weren't trying what was on the market. Sports drinks, children's rehydration products, electrolyte powders, they just were not working for her.
And those were the recommended things back in the day?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And still even today. You go into your doctor and, hey, go get your sports drinks, your children's rehydration products. And, that's really it.
Oh.
So the good news is mom beat cancer, but she ended up having to get a port so that she could get infusions. But a few years later, my sister started to see her friends go to IV hydration bars when they had one too many alcoholic beverages.
Yeah, that was quite a popular thing. Yeah.
Right? And it still happens today. So my sister goes to my dad because my dad is a board certified anesthesiologist and pain specialist.
Oh, okay.
He's got years of experience tailoring his patients' IV bags with nutritional supplementation to help them feel better. So my sister goes to my dad and is like, Dad, this is wild. Like, mom slogged through treatments. All my friends are going to these IV bars. With your experience, do you know of a product like a pill or a drink or a gel that's like an IV that somebody can take home with them? Dad didn't know of a single product like that. And he was like, that doesn't exist, but I would know how to make it. And so for 4 years, they started working on an IV in a bottle. And that's how Biolyte was born, was out of this, experience that my family went through with mama going through her cancer treatments and then the industry just not evolving. And so now we've got Biolyte and I'm running the company. So I'm not the mastermind behind it. I am not, I would love to say that was me, but that was not me. Yeah. I came into the story when we actually had the product and we needed to sell it and we needed to find a product market fit. That's when I step in because I was, straight out of college, had first couple jobs, really was kind of not finding my place. But this idea of the product, who it could help, and working with my family and for my family was super exciting to me. So I jumped on.
And that's a great point, right? I think a lot of us that are kind of on the fence, or people that don't know what they want to do with their lives, right? Like, if you can get behind something that solves a problem, that is what businesses are for, right? If you just distill it down to just the basics, like, how do you solve somebody's problem? How do you fix
Yeah.
somebody's problem? And that's where you add value in the marketplace, just like how we do with real estate. We fix these things up and we rent them out, like you're doing with the marketplace on the consumer side, which is providing something that literally did not exist and wasn't effective, right? I think that's where you guys are just killing the game right now with the amount of electrolytes compared to these other, call them like soft drinks.
Yeah. No, I
Imagine.
mean, it really, I mean, if you think about like sports drinks
Yeah.
and then you think about an IV bag,
Yeah.
even like there's such a huge difference. Like there's this enormous gap of like rapid rehydration that truly works
Yeah.
right in the middle. Because you think about the need state of somebody drinking a sports drink versus somebody having an IV,
Yeah.
but you still had like kind of going back to the origination of the story and me stepping in. The first place that I sold to was high school football teams.
Mm.
So I didn't go, I was so overwhelmed with the thought of trying to sell it into hospitals, like the certifications you would need, the this, the that, who to talk to, like navigating the behemoth of the healthcare industry was just so overwhelming. But I was like, I can walk into a high school and sample some product. That's easy. So going with that, I dropped product off at my high school. So I went to a school here in Atlanta called the Lovett School, and I met
Yeah.
with our athletic trainer and was like, I've got this product. It's an IV in a bottle. It's good for dehydration issues. And he was in the middle of his football season.
Yeah.
He tried Biolyte for his 10 players that typically cramped during the game. And he called me after he used the product at one of the games and was like, Jesslyn, 9 out of 10 of my players did not cramp at all.
Amazing.
Where can I get more of this stuff? And so that's the point of me telling this story, and is what we've been trying to do at Biolyte is we have been trying to bring medical grade solutions to
Yeah.
people right where they need us, right where they are. We didn't have to start in a hospital. We
And
didn't
at
have to start in
and
a clinic.
and at a very reasonable price point, right? Like, I think, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Like you
Incredible.
go in and you get an IV, minimum $100.
Wow.
And then, so to have a drink that's under $4, like $3.99 in QT, $3.99 in Racetrack, $3.39 in Kroger, or $3.49 in Publix, like
Yeah.
that is a
Unbelievable.
steal.
Under $5, compared to those fizzy energy drinks, yeah, it's incredible. Yeah.
But
What a deal.
here's where like the marketing and the brand awareness and telling people that story, the sports drink category and the rapid rehydration emerging category that's happening. I mean, you have to explain to a customer in 2 seconds or less why they should choose a more expensive product, why
Uh-huh.
your product commands this price point, where historically, I mean, it's been a race to the bottom from a price perspective. And
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
not a game that we want to play.
Yeah.
So that's where the right visuals, the right storytelling, the right marketing campaign has to be behind your product to say this is why it is more expensive and this is why it's worth it.
Absolutely love that. Just love the vision, love the value that you're giving to the marketplace. I think that's so unique. Tell us, and I'm a big growth guy. I like exploring new opportunities, new ways of thinking. What are some of the things that you guys faced with? Because I don't think the listeners know that you guys started on like your own property, manufacturing this and distributing it out of your own property, and then eventually scaling to like the distributor model. I don't know. Did you start with a distributor model, or was it like you just going to high schools and getting it out there? Because just for the listeners' sake, we've seen Biolyte in Publix, in all the all the major retailers, and like you mentioned, gas stations and stuff like that. So it always warms my heart to see there's a Biolyte.
I know. I call it Easter eggs. You're like, one.
Love it. Yeah. So
So yes and no.
okay.
So we never made Biolyte in our kitchen. That
Yeah.
was if you're gonna say that you're medical grade and you got all these certifications like we do now, you
Yeah.
can't make it in your kitchen.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
you can't get some Morton salt and lemon juice. Like no. Early on, that was the biggest struggle, was finding the right partner that would manufacture this in a facility that was cleaner than Clorox. Because Biolyte's a supplement and because uses a manufacturing process called hot fill, it takes this enormous group of manufacturers and goes, you can only be in these couple.
Yeah.
And some of them are great and some of them are terrible. And some of them are right in between. We went through the gamut of trying to find the right partner. But I heard a quote that I'm sure isn't new to your listeners, but like, revenue solves all problems.
It sure does.
It solves all problems. So the whole time that we were figuring out the manufacturing, the right partner, like selling it. So early on, and I'm a big believer in, this is not going to come to a shock to anybody, but like, I'm an extremely positive person. I think that life is going to provide you what you are looking for. You just have to ask, and you have to be vigilant about trying to find that answer, and it can propose the right solution.
Yeah.
And will propose the right solution. So I was selling Biolyte to high school football teams and to independent pharmacies and independent convenience stores. And I was at a family gathering, and my brother-in-law happens to be in wine sales. And so he was like, Jesslyn, tell me about Biolyte. See you driving all over the place. And I was like, yeah, I'm selling it out of the back of my Toyota Highlander. The teams are loving it. And he was like, well, really appreciate, your hustle, but that's not how the beverage industry works. Like you need to get it into retail so you can open it up to a larger market.
Wow. Cha-ching. There's the moment.
I'm telling you. And so he goes, so Adam was like, I've got some friends that I can introduce you to in the distribution industry. And so I get together, prepare a pitch deck, go into these beverage distributors with Adam, who helped me, make these connections. Eventually, somebody said yes. And that was our first distributor, who we still have today, distributing. But the caveat with Savannah, that Savannah seems to forget now that, time has passed. We saw the potential in Biolyte and this, that, and the other. That's what it's changed to.
Yeah.
The deal was that I had to land a retailer. And this is how the industry works, like chicken or the egg. Do you have the distributor and then the retailer and the distributor? You're trying to line them up at the same time. So can't hate on them for that. But they were like...
So just to simplify that for the folks that aren't in distribution, you're saying you can't go to Publix or Kroger without having a distributor. So you need that network to like go fill the shelves and have all the product ready and the placement and all that good stuff. But then you can't have the distributor saying, I wouldn't work with you until you have the retailer. So you... Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And to go from, a couple high school accounts to, we've got an opportunity with Kroger. Good. If you can sell it into Kroger, then we'll bring it in. I was like, well, yippee-ki-yay, here we go. I'm going to give it my best shot. And so I prepared for that meeting, had my presentation, had my cold Biolyte. And at the end of the presentation, Randy Waters, who was the head of the all natural division, I met him at the Kroger operation here in Atlanta. He was like, listen, 99% of water companies I say no to, but your passion, your enthusiasm for this brand, I think it's going places. And so I landed Kroger, and that was Biolyte's big break, because then Savannah said, okay, now we will actually bring you in. Got that anchor account. And the good thing about that. And I was talking to my new director of marketing about this yesterday when we were visiting stores. I was like, the key moment that I didn't understand, and my family didn't understand how big this was, but we didn't go in the planogram in Kroger. Like, we were not on the shelf.
Yeah.
We were given the opportunity to sell in these cold boxes. So coolers on end caps in Kroger stores.
Yeah.
And so not only was the product cold, it was visible from many different angles of the store.
Yeah.
And so not getting in the planogram that first go round was actually a blessing in disguise, because the opportunity just to have it cold, to have it more visible with what Savannah offered with those coolers really gave Biolyte the springboard that it needed to get the sales that it needed to go into the planogram.
And that's a good point. I've heard you say this many times in the past. It's much better cold. You have to drink it cold, don't drink it warm. It's just on the planner. It's just on the shelf, so you can go. I think it says even on the bottle, like keep refrigerator or whatever, right? So
Yep.
just
And
a top tip.
It's those little, like, we didn't have drink cold on the bottle right when we started. Like, it just little by little, it's like life. I mean, there was a funny story that relates, but I was interviewing a social media manager, and social media has always been like a thorn in our sides, like haven't quite figured it out. And she was like, don't get me wrong, like, your stuff is good. It's just, it would have been amazing in like 2012. Like, first of all, brutal.
Yeah.
Second of all, you're so right. Life just, you have to stay on top of your stuff, because every day brings something different. And that's like, and then if you don't stay on top of it, you start looking like a couple of years ago and you're not relevant anymore. And so staying on top of the trends, staying on top of what's relevant, staying cool, staying fresh, especially in our industry that is so brand heavy, is critical.
And so is that a new focus of yours, like to stay on top of it, be ahead of the curve? Like, it sounds like it is.
For sure. And you can't stay on top of every trend and every single piece. So bringing in the right people that are staying on top of the trends, that's going to be very, very critical moving forward.
Amazing. Absolutely love that. And that's one side of your role as the CEO. That's like probably like one, it's a very important part, but you also have so many other aspects that you have to run to, right? You're running a big company. What are some of the challenges and things that you've learned over, your last few years as a CEO, that have really, opened your eyes to like this big role of yours, and that, for example, I'm learning like, staying on your key performance indicators is like the most critical thing. Sometimes you don't feel like, like someone else can handle that. But in my world, I'm like, no, I want to see this and I want to print it and I want it on my desk this way so I can stay on top of it. What are some of the things that you've learned through your growth here?
So one of the things that I have always struggled with is having hard conversations. Like, I am a natural people pleaser.
Yeah.
I love people, and that makes me, super social, super magnetic, good networker, but it also makes it difficult for me to expect the best of people and have real conversations about what's happening. And just to use it in an analogy, like, I've always struggled with breaking up with people. Like, even in middle school, like dating people for way too long, even though it's not the right fit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so one of the things that I have learned is having tough conversations. And it has provided, like, I even feel lighter just talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've gotten so much better at it, and I want to continue to get better at it. Like, For example, like there was an individual in our operations department that was so knowledgeable, so skilled at her job, like incredible with procurement, incredible with operations. But when it came to like uniting the operations, like as a whole with logistics and procurement and like analytics and this and all the things, I was like, first of all, she's not going to enjoy doing it. Like it's kind of that get it, want it capacity to do it situation. Like we're not, even if she wants it, like this ain't it.
Yeah.
And so I sat down with her, and really all it takes, in my personal opinion, is that intro. As long as you just say the intro, then you can just work your way through it. So my intro is, I want to have a sticky conversation with you, that I don't have all the answers, that I haven't even like fleshed this all out yet, but I just want to talk about it because I can't get rid of it nagging at me.
Oh.
And I talked to her, and I don't have all the answers, but I talked to her, and I use this analogy that I'm like, if the operations team is a band, and you've got a great guitarist and a great piano player and an amazing bass, like, and I'm saying, this person's bass, this person's guitar, this person's piano, I am missing a lead singer. And it is a sound that I have not heard before, that we don't have, that we need. And I have to go and find that sound. And as much as I would love for you to be that lead singer, you are a ridiculous guitar player, and I need you to stay playing guitar.
Yeah.
And so what, like, and that didn't come from me. That came from a jazz player that I can't remember his name, but that thought process. Because he said, they were like, how do you know what to play in jazz? And he was like, I listen to what's being played, and then I play what's missing. And that intro of, I want to have a sticky conversation with you, it's going to be ugly, I'm going to just kind of word vomit on you, please allow me to do that, because there is a solution here that I need your help solving. And I have done that with multiple different people in the company when something wasn't right.
When you feel there's something off in the band, in the recording session, right? So that's an incredible analogy, and what a practical way to have tough conversations without insulting anybody, without it's like, hey, this is real. We want the symphony to be its best and clearest, and right now we're kind of off. So help me get us back into tune. I love that. Cool. That's such a cool tool. I hope people, and you can apply that to anything, I think, right? I feel like
I have. It makes you, God, it just makes you feel like such a boss and such a baller to be like, I feel this way. I said it. It's out in the air.
Yeah.
Here we are. And you're not just sitting with something for so long. Like everybody's on the same page, and like they know you've got their back, you know that they've got yours, and you're just working out an issue that is a jumbled up mess sometimes. So in some, just like if you're dealing and you're wrestling with an issue that you can't quite put your finger on, sitting down with that person and saying, I want to have a sticky conversation with you that I don't have all the answers to, but I need your help with.
Yeah. Amazing. I actually just recently saw a quote from another titan, Jeff Bezos, when he was much younger. He said, when you have stress as an entrepreneur, and I'm quoting, obviously paraphrasing, but when you have stress as an entrepreneur and there's something that you need to deal with and you don't deal with it, it just sits and builds that stress in your body and in your day-to-day. And in his story, he said, as soon as you even address the issue or like say it aloud to that person, like, hey, we don't have the solution right here, but this is something that we need to figure out, it releases all that stress. Just the fact that you've said it, you haven't even solved it yet, and then you work. Well, then then you work through the solution, solve it, and hopefully you do. And
Yeah.
sometimes things go the way you want, and sometimes they go down another path. So yeah, I really appreciate that, Jess. I think we're coming up at our almost at our 30-minute mark here. I want to be respectful of your time. So I did have, kind of a few questions I wanted to ask you, and this is just,
Been yammering too much. Hadn't gotten to your question.
no, it's all good. I love your story. And I really appreciate it. But just for the listeners out there, looking back, um, from where you started to now, what's one piece of advice you would give entrepreneurs who's trying to scale their own business? Because you've scaled this thing to such a level that's, I mean, that just blows my mind. And it's all you. It's stepping in and listening. And I think what you highlighted earlier, which I thought was beautiful, was like, hey, I don't have the answer, but I I I put it in the universe. I put it out there, and someone in your network, someone in your close network, was in that industry, and they put you on the right path to go into these distributors and then go into the retailers. And so what's one piece of advice you'd give to an entrepreneur looking to scale today?
I would go back to be very direct with what your goal is and what you want the whole entire company working towards. Because me coming in this role so young, I was like 26, 27. I really struggled for a few years with going from a hierarchy where everything was very flat and we were making decisions based off of democracy versus when I, came into truly grasping onto this seat, CEO role. And there was a military general who said what I'm trying to say better. And it is, if you are in a role in leadership, you have to lead.
Yeah.
So if the quote is, if in command, command. Because I had for many years people pulling in different directions. They saw Biolyte as more of the sports drink, more of the brand, and they wanted to totally leave out the healthcare piece. Yeah. And they wanted to go in that direction because that was cool and that was fun and that was flashy and that was going to get us the highest multiple, the quickest, and like all these things. Yeah. And that's not what I was building. Yeah. And I just allowed that conversation and that thought process to kind of infiltrate the company, and it veered us off course in a massive way. And so when in command. And to do that, you have to have sticky, tough, direct conversations. Yeah,
to get, just put in my words, like get the alignment right, like get everybody on the same page, focus on the same, everybody rowing in the same direction, right? So
yeah. For sure.
Wonderful. Yeah, amazing. Really, really enjoyed that. I can pull from my own experience that those tough conversations are so important, and they sit on your soul. If you don't let them go, you kind of go against your own principles. Another little fire round question. Looking back, is there anything you wish you had known when you first started?
There's many things that I wish that I had known. So I would say that what I wish I had known when I first started was how difficult it was going to be to run a family business, to go from who your parents see as the youngest daughter who didn't clean her room when she was 13 to she's running our company.
Commander. Yeah.
Like they still struggle with that. Like it doesn't matter how big this company gets. Like there is always that push and pull with family dynamics. And I was thinking about this, last thing I'll say, I was thinking about this on my walk with my corgis a few days ago. you know how people say people can't change. People can't change. They don't change, all the things. I completely disagree with that. And I was thinking about a family member who I am personally not allowing to change. I
Yeah.
see them with who they were in high school, and I will not let them get out of that box.
Hmm.
And they might be and probably are somebody totally different than that person,
Right.
but I'm not allowing them to change.
Yeah.
And so that's what I wish that I had known, was that was going to be a dynamic in our family business that I need to wear with a badge of honor and grace, and understand where my parents are coming from with that. And also not do that myself, so that, you know,
Yeah.
I
It's all
can lead by example.
yeah, perceptions, right? And we all have some sort of preconceived notion of something or other, right? There's always some waypoint or some point of view, but when you step back and you maybe consider someone else's point of view, you're like, oh wow, that changes the whole game. Or there's those moments of breakthrough in those situations. So completely agree. Wonderful. I mean, for those considering starting family businesses, yeah, they're not easy. That's not an easy business. But there is, take my hat off for those that want to create generational wealth with their family members, because that's what America's built on. That's what keeps this country great, is entrepreneurs and people innovating, challenging the status quo, solving problems that exist in the marketplace. We need more of that. We need to have more more small businesses, medium businesses. That's what America's built on. We don't need these monolithic giants controlling our media and all kinds of things. So I'm very happy to see families succeed in delivering what they're called to do. It's a beautiful thing. And then, what's next for Biolyte? Any exciting plans or innovations on the horizon? What's happening with you guys?
So 2025 is going to be a huge year. We are so excited. We've got a huge expansion with some big names
Amazing.
in healthcare and the pharmacy space. And so expanding across the country, getting this product to people who need it, where they need it, when they need it. That's what we're here to do. 2025, let's rock and roll.
Love that. And then just in closing, where can the listeners find Biolyte? How can they connect with you or learn more about your product?
So to learn more about our product, the best place you want to go is our website. It's got the most up-to-date information. It's got the right graphics, all the things. So drinkbiolyte.com. And then to connect with me, I mean, I'd love to connect with y'all. So the best way to probably do that would be
Instagram or LinkedIn. We'll put that in
totally.
notes.
Oh my God. Yeah. DM me. I'm
Yeah.
just Jesslyn Rollins 22. You'll see lots of pictures of corgis. So apologies there. Or not. But
No, they're lovely.
yeah. But yeah, just DM me. I'm here.
Amazing. Well, Jess, this was a fantastic story. I'm so excited to share this with the listeners and have them glean any nuggets from this. It's a very unique company, and you're solving a very unique problem. And I just wish you all the success and all the best for the future. And I'm rooting for you. And with that, we'll end our show. So thank you all for this wonderful time, and we'll connect soon.
Thanks, everybody.